What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Pestilength, entitled Eilatik. This is self-released. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Basque County, Spain, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, unorthodox, experimental style of black metal. Yeah. As many of you know, last year I talked about this band in my Invocations of Demolition series, and this band put out a demo that really was very much new to my ears. It had a very harrowing, dark, and distinctive sort of sound, and I was very curious and interested to see how far this band would go along and progress with their sound. Ever since that demo, this band has been very, very straightforward and consistent in putting out material, most notably towards the tail end of last year with the Demend EP. More of a continuation of this band's sound growth and experimentation, and it sounded really, really good. And in the current year of 2020, we got some more examples of how things were going to go along with this band in the form of two very intriguing EPs. Shrine and Neuralpha. Very impressive stuff, but it only would lead on to what we have here today, what we're going to be talking about, and that is the very first official full-length album from Pestilength entitled Eilatik. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around 42 minutes in length, and pretty much this album is an amalgamation of everything you would know about Pestilength in one very fell swoop. A lot of creativity, a lot of twists and turns you don't see coming, but it altogether makes for a very impressive debut. Even the stuff that appears on this album happens to transcend black metal in some sorts of ways. You get almost an influence of doom and death metal and even some post-black metal towards the very end of this record, which I'll get to in a second. But musically, this is where this band really shines through. There's a lot of talent and creativity going forward with the musicianship on this album. Take the opening track Filth Monolith, where you get some really awesome natural drum sounds juxtaposed together with some really great riffs, some awesome howled vocals, and just overall a very good way to set the tone for things to come. But as for the rest of this album is concerned, it's just really top-notch musicianship. I just love how natural and forward-thinking this music sounds. It's really impressive, really good riffs, very much evidented within the style of black metal. Like I mentioned earlier, you get a little bit of doom, you get a little bit of death metal going through here, especially with songs like Layering, Continuum, Unfleshing, Demend, Befalan, some very uniquely worded song titles going on here, I should say. And the closing track of this album, Wither, which is the longest track on here at about 9 minutes in length, you get a lot of great black metal influence on that song. But then towards the second half of this track, you get thrown for a loop with some really, really creative, dreamlike sort of riffs going on here. I almost get a sense of a dark, melodic, post-black metal-esque sort of sound quality going on here, which definitely threw me for a loop, but I definitely appreciate them being risky and ballsy enough to create something special with that particular song. The bottom end is very good, the bass is very good on this record, definitely something well heard, very well audible, and as you'll hear with the rest of the musicianship on this album, very natural. The drumming on here is probably one of my favorite things about this record. I love the snare tone, I love the blasts. I just love the energy going forward with these drums. Very entertaining, very natural sounding. I really love the passion being presented with these drums, especially for some of these longer tracks, some of these 6-minute and 9-minute long tracks. It's very impressive. And when it comes to the vocals, you're going to get a lot of vocal creativity going on here, a lot of bellowing growls and roars going on, almost a depraved sense of evilness going on here with these vocals. And going back to the last track on this album with Wither, you get some almost sung, clean, and sort of style vocals going on towards that end of the track, which makes for something very completely different, but I think it makes that song charming in its own right. So overall, This is a very impressive debut full length. I definitely think this band has a lot of originality, creativity, and I'm very curious to see how things go forward here for this band. So if you're into this band's early demo or their material soon after that, you're going to love Eilatik a lot. This is a really good album. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Filth Monolith, Layering, Continuing, Unfleshing, Crypt is another really top-notch track, and then, of course, the closing track with Wither. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Pestilength Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it by digitally, and I believe that the label known as Gems Label will be putting out a limited physical version of this album on CD, so definitely keep an eye and ear out for that when that's available. I don't know if there will be other physical formats of this album, but if there are, I will definitely link them to you in this video. So, again, the album is Eilatik by Pestilength. This is self-released. Definitely go support this. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Very, very impressive debut full-length. Very much top quality black metal from Spain. So if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it. Are any of you guys into Pestilength? Definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Next, check out my channel. Until the next time, Armijo out.